Hi guys. Um, yeah, today something different. I'm hunting trophies at the moment, so I need to do every of the carrier scenarios in hard, and I want to get gold in hard. And I also want to talk about the unknown future of this YouTube channel and my Twitch channel. Yeah. Wait. Is it plugged in? It is. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, I'm just... Watch this.
Ah, heyo at Hematu. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prides, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry, though. I'm not completely throwing you in at the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand. Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Wow, those
Hello
jokes.
there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals. We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat. Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year? But then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too. Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel.
Okay.
See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it. Okay, when you're ready, let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find. Panthera leo leo, or the West African lion to you and me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride, although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
That was cute. So I'm just not doing what she wants me to do now, so I can explain what is going on here. This is the tutorial zoo, for those who don't know that. That's why there's much dialogue, why there's this line around habitats or places I should do something. And oh, I didn't saw that the first time I was here. Interesting. Yeah. So I also wanna explain why I'm, or what I meant some minutes ago. At the moment I'm in therapy and my therapist said I might have ADHD. So some of you might know what this is. I have typical symptoms like concentration problems and forgetfulness and but not just the oh, I forgot to took the trash out. It's more like oh, I forgot to took my pills and I'm taking something against depressions and I have problems sometimes with speaking. That's why I'm not streaming at the moment in English, but that will change soon. After this video is uploaded, I think it might take a week more to get to the point where I feel comfortable to yeah do my streams in English. I mean, when I read in English or write in English, it's perfectly fine. I think my English is pretty good for a German, but I have problems with pronouncing some words. The point where I'm forgetful is also with words. Sometimes I don't remember German words, sometimes, but only the English words, and sometimes it's the other way around, and that happens way more often because English is not my mother language. As I said, I'm German. So I don't know, it might happen sometimes that people will get annoyed from my speaking, because sometimes I use the wrong words or sometimes I pronounce them bad, or I don't know. I personally am a person who really gets annoyed fast by something that sounds wrong too often, or when I hear that too often. That's why I'm explaining that here now, so maybe it's easier for people to watch it then, because they know, oh, okay, she has some problems with her brain and all that shit is, yeah. I don't know if this is relatable or not. This will also happen many times because even in Germany, I'm a bad speaker. My brain, I think, is faster than my mouth, and then I'm getting to the point where I just say blah, 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 instead of real words, because it just happens sometimes. I can't explain that. But yeah. So my future is at the moment I'm making a regular, or I've tried to get a regular day structure, and this also will have. Now I don't know the word. I will post more regularly or upload more regular videos on YouTube, and I try to stream more regular. So yeah, I hope to just get a kind of normal life and a normal day structure and all that shit. It's horrible. Yeah, so that was actually everything I wanted to say, I think. I think I don't need to say more. So, let's continue the game.
As you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section. There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu.
Yeah, I
Normally
did
the
that.
animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants.
Oh, why not? A dozen of
When you
elephants
adopt
would
an
be
animal,
nice.
it's automatically placed in a trade centre where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home?
Yeah, I already did. Go faster.
When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre,
let's
collect
have
your
a
animal
look.
and deliver
Needs
them to your
more
selected
grass.
habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
Okay, I think at the moment I can't change. Okay, what was my locate? Okay, yeah.
Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat. But I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health.
I like her
Let's
accent.
get the warthog's
It's
habitat
kinda
finished up so we can keep
funny
them nice and happy.
and kinda
You see,
nice.
Each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information.
That's actually a pretty nice idea for...
Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station, and for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl.
oh my god, now I wanted to start talking German. I'm sorry.
Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
Maybe I'll just put it in the middle here.
Nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see.
Yeah,
Now,
blah blah blah.
Our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a feral state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
Can I please give them some more? No, I can't.
Oh, before we actually start building our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner. Ah, that's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay. Job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it. Good work! Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder. But seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier, so the guests can see in. There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's
I
always
almost
best to
forgot
make sure
how
the
much
guests
talking
can get a
that
good
was.
view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places, like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them.
I'm sorry if my voice is a little bit
as well
cracky
as pausing
today.
the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. Alright, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here.
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know they can actually run at 43 miles per hour? Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
Well, Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did he do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals.
Oh, can I know? Yes? Okay.
You'll need to rotate the keeper hut to get it to connect up to the path.
Oh, we should build it. Oh my god. It's pretty annoying how much they talk. But it gets less.
This keeper hut only has space for 1 keeper, but the larger keeper hut can allow multiple keepers to prepare food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts and other staff facilities shouldn't be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests. Guests don't like seeing facility buildings, and it can affect their happiness. Negatively. In case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a whole host of other objects need is power, and that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a transformer next to it, shall we? Now, the reason everything has gone blue is because you're using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't powered in your zoo. So, once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off. Lovely work. Now the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos. Let's get on to your next objective then. Bengal tigers. We want to adopt some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet. Head on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away. Righty, your next job is to build a habitat from scratch. And concrete and glass, I expect. So go ahead and build it. Just make sure that the habitat includes that big hole we've dug. Oh, and don't forget to add a habitat gate to the barrier. Oh, and make sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
Here. And some glass, maybe here. Add a habitat gate. Okay. Oh wait, that was dumb. Okay, let's add glass here. And maybe there. Okay, the gate here.
Now, Bernie takes safety very seriously at his zoos, so we should probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the habitat's barrier. Okay then, you should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode. Great. Now highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool. Now you've got all of the perimeter selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and dragging the barrier height tool upwards. You'll want to make sure it reaches a height of at least 3.7 meters. Now that the habitat is in place, don't forget to put down a donation box near to your viewing areas. We need every dollar we can get. Especially as these tigers aren't exactly eating instant noodles for lunch.
Oh, they don't? I didn't knew that.
Okay, that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think it's time we adopted those tigers.
Yes, please. Thanks. Let's go.
Whilst our trusty caretakers collect and deliver the tigers, let's take a look at preparing the habitat for their arrival. We'll start with the basics. Add a suitable feeding station for them.
Okay, lake. Lake. Food enrichment. Okay.
Yes, that'll do nicely. Of course, just like the warthogs and ostriches, these tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some suitable toy and food enrichment items
And
into
give
their
me the
habitat?
suitable toy and enrichment items. Oh, this is sometimes a bit annoying.
Okay, it's really starting to take shape. Now, the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat so they can hide from the guests, or more likely the bad weather. Although given that we're in England, you might want to think of that just as normal weather. Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the blueprint that I've already built for you. Oh, poor Dabs. I'm sure it can't have escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat. Select a tiger and bring up its information panel.
Okay, we're gonna do this different.
Rightio. Click on the terrain tab. That way you can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different types of terrain. That'll tell you what the tigers need more of or less of in this habitat.
I wanna get this right.
They say that good fences make good neighbors. I guess that's doubly true when one of the neighbors is a Bengal tiger. Still, those tigers look so happy that I doubt they'd leave, even if you did poke a hole in their fence. Oh, but for heaven's sake, don't test that theory.
Then we go to the ostriches.
Just find one of the peafowls and select them to open their information panel. Then we can have a good gander at how they're doing. Although technically, I suppose gandering would just be for geese. Expand their social welfare and we can get a bit more detail. Now, they've clearly got plenty of space and they're not stressed, but it looks like their social group isn't quite right. So let's find out more. Click on the social tab at the top of their information panel to see what's wrong. Right, as you can see, the peafowls need their population to be larger. To solve this little problem, you'll need to adopt 3 more female peafowls. Off you pop to the animal market then. Good work on those peafowls. I expect they'll be delivered soon. But sadly, it sounds like our snow leopard is a bit grumpy. Let's head over there and see what's wrong with her. Just like people, animals can suffer from stress if things aren't quite right. You know, like when you see someone put in the milk before the tea bag. In the case of these snow leopards, they're a bit stressed by their lack of privacy. You can lower their stress levels by swapping out the normal glass barrier by their cave for one-way glass. It's not a cheap option, but I think they're worth the expense, don't you? This will give the snow leopards somewhere to go when they want to get away from the prying eyes of the guests. Of course, when an animal isn't in its natural biome, it's probably going to be too hot or too cold. Unsurprisingly for the snow leopards, it's too hot. Even with the terrible British weather.
Yeah.
You should help cool it down by adding some coolers to their habitat. But let's start by opening up the temperature heat map and having a look-see at the temperature in the leopard's habitat.
A look-see.
You can find heat maps for all sorts of helpful things, so do be sure to explore them and make good use of them.
Those jokes are even
It'll take
worse
a little
than
while
mine.
for the temperature to adjust once you've added coolers or heaters, but now we've got the coolers in, we can address the leopard's terrain welfare. You see, what the leopards really want in here is snow and rock, so let's make that happen. Now then, all of that should give you a pretty good understanding of how to make animals happy. So I'd like you to go and check on all the other animals in the zoo and fix up any issues with their habitats. That'll increase the average welfare of the animals across the whole zoo. And that average welfare is a very important statistic. Now, to quickly see how all your animals are doing in the zoo, you should go into zoo management and then into the animals section.
Okay. So there's everything on 100. Species toy. Can we change that? Yeah, we can. I think I'll give toys. Maybe this. Okay. I'll pause that here because in hard mode, some of the toys will get not that interesting anymore for the animals. So yeah. Okay, what do we have? Oh my god, enrichment is bad here. Okay. More grass and less soil. Okay. Does this also fit the zebra? Okay. Perfect. Then we need... Okay, they have hard shelter. Some of the plants aren't right. So that's still fits. Okay. They still like it. Okay, what do we have here? They also need enrichment. Okay. We have the feeder, so take this and this and this. Food enrichment. Okay, I can't. Oh wait, that's the zebra, not the giraffe. Zebra. Okay, that should be fine. So that's all 100. This is also fine. Okay, so why were there? Then this and this is now the next, but I think the grizzly should be fine. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, maybe a little bit. Still too much. Okay, perfect. That's not good. That's not good. And no, it's not enough anymore. Let's just put this down here. Perfect. Wow, this is that's a straight tree. Okay, so the next animal is here. How are you guys feeling? They are pretty fine. Just some more enrichment. Is that the right name? Yes. Okay, toy enrichment. This, this, and this, and also this. And maybe this. Yes, perfect. So then we have the too much short grass, and now it's perfect. Wow, that's really too much for them. Bye bye bushes. How is it now? Is it better? Okay, I guess I have to destroy pretty much of it. I think that should be fun. Wow. Nope, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Okay. But that should be fine. Oh, plants, yes, okay. I don't even know why I want to do the 100 version welfare, but or almost at least, because so we need okay, many enrichments. Take all that shit. And this, and also this. Good. So, the shelter. Maybe a bit bigger.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I think it's fair to say that you've passed the first part of your training with flying colours.
Great.
There's still lots more to learn, but we'll have to head to another one of Bernie's zoos for that. If you want to grab
Yeah, I'm just gonna
your passport, we'll head off.
Okay, I'm glad. Because that means we come to an end for at least this episode. I'm doing the next one now, but you will see that in the next video. So, thank you for watching. I hope it was at least a bit interesting, even with the much talking of Nancy. Was it Nancy? I think it was Nancy. So, yeah. See you next time. Bye.